Hey guys, it's Ernesto and welcome back to yet another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a wonderful day. So today I'm here doing actually a talk that, we wasn't supposed to be doing today. So you're going to get a little bit of clip of what I'm talking about later in the video. Well, much sooner than later. You're going to get the insight as to what. But, I'm here today with Reggie. We're talking some stuff about camera gears, photography, just in general. If you want to check out the full conversation that we had, please go check out his channel. I'll put a link to his channel down below, and it's going to probably appear somewhere on the video somewhere. So go check it out if you want to see that full conversation. It was definitely a lot of content that we talked about, so you enjoyed. So go check it out and subscribe to his channel too.
Mic check.
Test. 1, 1 to 2.
All right, man, here we go. We got Ernesto Sue.
Come on, man. This is not the way you usually intro your video. Come on.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Chief Takes Films, your tour guide on the road to elevating your image.
Many years ago, many years ago, when I got into photography, when I moved from New York to North Carolina, the one thing that I didn't have was a hobby, right. And photography happened to be that hobby for me. And I was just shooting my family, and that's about it, just my family. And eventually I had to branch off, and I basically found like this meetup group. I forget what it was called back in the day, but it was run by, what's this guy's name? The one that used to do all the magazines and stuff. John, he is a John.
John Covington.
Yeah, Covington, yes. Yeah. So he had a meetup group that he was running, and he did I was searching meetup, and I found that meetup group, and he was doing a meetup in Raleigh at this graffiti wall in downtown Raleigh. And that was like the first shoot that I actually did with working with actual people that's not my family.
Right.
So I showed up for that shoot with my 70-200. That was my only lens back then, looking like I knew what the hell what I was doing. I remember you coming up to me and asking me about this light that I was using, which wasn't my light. It was just somebody's light that was there. And you asking me about, there was this dark-skinned girl there. And you asked me, like, how do you go about lighting that? And I'm like, well, you making sure that you just put a lot of light there. And I'm like, it's like, that was my my wonderful photography advice back in the day. But yeah, that was my first year, and that's how we met. And basically, that video was just basically lost somewhere in the archives.
Right. I need to search for that. I don't even know where to look because that was pre Instagram.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a while ago.
Dang, I don't know where I would have put that video at.
I think you were in the game longer than I was before even that time. That was my first foray into photography. I still have those images somewhere. I'll probably just it was terrible. It was terrible, but I'll dig it up.
Show the progression, man.
I'll dig it up. It was good. It was a good experience. It got me exposed into this world of photography. When I got into this, people I realized were my thing that I love, because before that I was just like shooting my family and just like going out randomly shooting plants and stuff, and whatever. And I never really found an image that I really connected with until I started. Even with those terrible images back then, it was just like I found, that people is my focus, is like what I would like to do. So
right.
That's why I started to hone in on with people skills. I'm naturally like an introvert by naturally I'm just like an introvert. So it's strange for me to say that people were my thing.
Right.
It's like when I get behind a camera and I'm working with a subject, it's just become like a different person. Is like they look to you more as the directed, as more like to direct them to do things. So you have to come out of your shell as an introvert to give them that direction, or else it goes nowhere.
Right. Yeah, giving direction, I feel like, that's something that you think about pre-shoot. Like, I'm going to tell them, this is the look I'm going for. I'm going to coach them through it. But then when you show up on set, it's like, I'm going out before the shoot. I was going through it in my head, trying to get it right. But then when I'm on set shooting, it just comes naturally. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can see their angles they can't see. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're just trying to get them into that one angle. Speaking of that, how many shoots do you usually like? How many shots do you usually do during a photo shoot?
Um, it varies. So if I'm working with a very experienced model, like for example, when I'm working with Shannon,
Uh-huh.
I can easily fire off, anywhere in the neighborhood of 300 or 400 shots,
Right.
sometimes even more, because we're just flowing that naturally.
Right.
But if I'm working with an inexperienced model or an inexperienced person that don't know how, don't know their lines or don't know anything about posing, then it becomes a much more slower, calmer shoot because I'm giving them the direction and it's more methodical. I'm just basically getting it right, getting their angles right, and then getting the expression that I need out of them. The hardest thing with posing, any subject that don't know how to pose, especially inexperienced people, is getting you could pose. You can shape someone in any which way that you would want, right? At least I feel that way. But what you can't shape is their expression,
Okay.
and that is the most difficult thing to get from people because I could get the perfect shape from someone, make them look all beautiful. And when I say beautiful, I'm talking about women more specifically.
Right. Right.
So I can get them looking very beautiful, but they can look like a deer and headlights because their expression is not on point.
Right.
So yeah, so it's difficult. So that's why it becomes a little bit slower process. So as far as number of images, when I'm working with inexperienced people, it could be, south of 200 images,
Right.
and probably less than that, because the images that I try to capture is not like throwaway images, whereas like I'm spraying and praying is more like very, very specific that I'm trying to go for. And if I don't see it, I don't snap it. So that's why I end up getting less images when I'm working with inexperienced model versus a experienced model, because when you have an experienced model, they know their lines. They can basically work and give you multiple opportunities so you don't have to stop. You could just keep going. Even if you don't see the right setup on them, the next change that they make could be that one, and you just keep going. So you don't want to, just like you don't want someone to interrupt your flow when you're doing, your work. You don't want to interrupt an experienced model's flow when they're doing. The only time you want to interrupt them is if the lighting is not looking good on them. You want to say, look, hang on 1 second. I want you to look towards the main light, or hang on, I need to change the light here, or something like that. But you want that model, if they know what they're doing, they're going to give you good looks. I know there's certain models say that you need to give them feedback, and you do. The feedback you need to give them is like, this is looking awesome. Right. This is great. You're looking beautiful.
Hyping them up.
Exactly. Right. Making them, push to the next level, right? But you don't want to say, this, even if it is bad, you don't want to say, oh, this is horrible. But yeah, it's, yeah, so my images it could vary based on who I'm working with.
Mine is, I think I'm the opposite of that. I think I get more images out of inexperienced models because I'm spraying and praying, hoping that I can find the right shot. You know what I mean? Like, I might need to slow down and focus, man, when I'm dealing with inexperience. What do you think helps with the facial expressions, though? Do you play music on set?
So what I tend to do is, so this photographer by the name of Jerry Gonis. I don't know if you know him. But he's a very famous wedding photographer, and he have like these little quirky little jokes that he usually tell.
Like dad jokes?
Like dad jokes. And I kind of steal some of that sometimes when I'm working with models. Like, for example, if I have them facing the wall, right? And I'm shooting like something like maybe their back or some type of detail on their back. Maybe they have a dress that has some nice detail on the back that I want to capture. And I would say, take the image, and I'd be like, shoot, you blinked, right? which is a joke that he usually tells.
Right.
And obviously, it's a joke because you can't really see their faces,
Right.
and there was, you know, that will break the ice a little bit. So that's one little trick that I do. But what's more important, even before the shoot, is that I try to sit down with them and, you know, really try to get to know that person. Because sometimes it's like the first time you're meeting them in person, maybe you've spoken to them on the phone
Right.
or something like that, but this might be the first time you're meeting them in person. So if this is the first time I'm meeting them in person, I try to sit down and try to build up a rapport. You know, like, how was your weekend? You know, what do you like doing? Oh, that was great. And then I take all of that information from the beginning that we had that little conversation, and when we come into the shoot, I'd be like, oh, you remember that thing that you told me? And I try to get them to laugh at that and blah, blah, blah. So you know, I try to use those types of details to try to help get some of the expressions, and, you know, some cheesy jokes doesn't help, you know, helps as well.
So I'm not really. Well, I'm an introvert only because I want to be. But like when I'm on set with people, the jokes just flow naturally for me. The only downside to that is I be hoping that I think I'm funny. I hope they think I'm funny. They're probably like, this dude ain't even funny. Man. But as long as they laugh on frame, that's all I care about.
Hey, you just want them to be, you know, hey, this corny dude is trying to make me laugh, and I'm gonna laugh at his jokes. But, you know, eventually, when people laugh, you know, like if I'm laughing at the most corniest joke right now, and I think I'm, you know, still laughing at, eventually everybody else around you, they will start laughing or smiling, because you can't help it. But, you know, unless someone is laughing at you, then if you're the butt of the joke, then it's a different story. But you know, if someone is laughing, if you just walk into a room and you just see somebody just like, you know, you'll be like, what is this dude? You come in and smile and be like, what is this? What are they doing? You know?
To get on the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. You try to get on that high. So as when you know, when the person started laughing, even though they might feel like it's corny, why am I doing this? Eventually be like, oh, you know what? This is so stupid. I'm gonna just start laughing. You know, it's just like, so it's those kind of little corny things that I would use. I don't have the skill sets as you to make them really, really laugh.
Man, I don't know what they're laughing at. It might be laughing at me, but it usually works, man. So I know you don't like to talk about gear. Let's get into a little bit of what camera you use and what you shoot on. I know you